Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about some books I bought. So this video will be a sort of haul, and I would also like to talk a little bit about how we buy books, why we buy books, and book collections in general. July has been a big month for me. I've had some traveling that I did, which is usually a reason for me to buy some new books. I buy books as souvenirs and as memories that I relate to traveling. So I always have a budget for when I go on trips to buy myself a book or two to remember the trip by. I also really like to visit independent bookstores in different cities that I get to travel to. And then if I am able to, and if I find a book that I really like, and especially if I find a book from the region, then I really like being able to purchase these books and support these independent bookstores. So as I mentioned, July was a bit of an outlier for me in regards to book purchasing, because I bought not one, not two, but 5 new books. This is highly unusual for me. Most months I don't buy any books, and if I do buy books, it is usually used books or ebooks that I buy because A, they are cheaper, B, they are better for the environment. And so buying 5 whole new books for me is a big month, and July was definitely a big month for me personally. And today I would like to show you 2 books that I purchased when I visited Denmark. I also ordered a couple of, 3 other books, but they are traveling from a long way and they are still stuck in customs. So those ones I will not be able to show off today. The first book I purchased is This is a Love Story by Jessica Soffer, which is, a love story about New York and about people falling in love in Central Park. I find it really interesting how New York has this almost cult following, where a lot of books have New York, the city, as a character in them. It is a very iconic city, and there are so many books that are set in New York and that are really their main feature is that they are set in New York. It's almost like New York is its own little literary island that people really love to write about. As you might be able to see, I already started reading this book, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It has a sort of stream of consciousness quality to it, which is not very common for romance books. And so I'm really enjoying this unique little book. The other book I purchased is more related to Denmark, in the sense that I really like to buy books from authors in the country I'm visiting, if they are available in English or in any other language I speak. And so I purchased Global Sex, What Sex Workers Know About Love and Capitalism by Sine Plambech, translated by Michael Favala Goldman. This is maybe obviously a non-fiction book about the global sex trade and about how people move in the world after money, and what sex workers' experiences are like, and what their motivations might be, what their stories are like. And it seems like a really well-researched book. The author is an anthropologist, so I can't wait to read this to get to know this topic a little better. I think it is really important that we learn about the underbelly of society and our current times, and that we open up doors to lives that we do not live personally, to sort of get a better understanding of what it is like to live very, very different lives from our own. Alright, so yeah, these are my 2 new books. I am incredibly excited about them. I make an effort to only purchase books new if I like the way they look, if I like them as objects, because they are going into a physical collection. So I want them to be beautiful, and I also want them to have either rereadability or some sort of sentimental value to them, where I would want to hold on to them for a long, long time. If I feel like a book is either not as pretty as I want it to be, or not as, let's say, it doesn't have so much longevity in my life, or I don't see it having longevity, then I am much, much more likely to either get an ebook and put it on my ebook reader, or most likely to borrow it from the library. Alright, and I would like to end this video with a little conversation, some of my thoughts about book collections. I am a very, very happy reader. I really love to read, and I also do enjoy collecting books, but I like to be careful about what I own and what I purchase. Books are big, heavy, and difficult to upkeep objects. They take up a lot of space, and they can be really, really expensive. And oftentimes when I'm online and I'm watching videos by people who read a lot, and people on BookTube and BookTok and whatever else, I hear this sentiment that buying books and reading books are 2 separate hobbies. One can be a book dragon and not a bookworm, and vice versa. And as much as I agree with this sentiment, I find that all too often it is used as an excuse to overconsume. I often run into videos of people hauling or unhauling tens and tens of books, having hundreds of books in their home library, sometimes even thousands of books. And there is an icky feeling in me when I see books being cycled through so quickly. I feel like it's easy to sort of lose track of how important these objects could be, and how they are real physical objects that are in the world. And if we purchase one and then give it away towards charity shops or just throw it out, that these books still exist in the world. And there's almost this sentiment that if you're a reader online, if you talk about reading and you're passionate, then you must have hundreds and hundreds of books in your home. Well, because how else can you prove your love of books, right? And as I have moved a lot in my life, and I have always lived in rentals and accommodations with very limited space, as well as a strict budget, I do not own hundreds of books. And if you've seen my other videos, you'll see that most of the times I do not have a physical copy of the book I am discussing. I have ebook versions that I mainly get from the library or sometimes purchase online. I have a Kobo reader that I saved up for and use that very tactically, I want to say. And I would really like to encourage you all to really think about the books you buy, to consider buying second-hand, and to encourage you to support your local libraries. If you take one thing away from this video, then I would like it to be get on Libby, get on your library app, go and get a library card. In so many places it costs no money at all, and even in places like Hungary, where I live, most library cards are cheap. They cost about the price of 1 or 2 new books, and it is such a good way to gain access to so many books and to recommendations and to the incredible wealth of knowledge that your local librarians have. So I guess this is an ode to libraries, to book collections that are owned publicly, and to people like myself who are avid readers and book lovers, and who cannot afford to buy 10 new books for a video or for any occasion really, who do not have the opportunity or the means to buy these things. I would like to reiterate that that is the normal state to be, and that thinking really thinking a lot about the books that you purchase and rereading the books you own, and owning less than 100 books, or maybe even owning no books and just having a library card, hopefully, is normal. It is just how people are, and that if you like books a lot and you watch a lot of people online, you might get this skewed idea of what it is like to be a reader. And so I would like to be representation today. I would like to just make sure that we're all on the same page about this. You count as a reader even if you do not own a single book. If you like reading, you're a reader. If you read a single book this year, you are a reader in my eyes. And if you are someone who is interested in books, and maybe you're interested in women who won the Nobel Prize in Literature, then I would really recommend subscribing to my channel. On weeks when I have the time and I'm not traveling, I read a book from each of the female Nobel laureates in literature. And next week I will be back to that video series, and I will be discussing Alice Munro, a Canadian author who won the Nobel Prize, I want to say, in 2015. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you have a wonderful week and that you read a lot. See you next week. Bye!